13 verses 24 to 27. Nawa nandiyan na po kayo, sabay-sabay po nating basahin. Handa, basa. The Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, Surely as I have taught, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. Last verse. For the Lord of hosts hath purpose, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Pagin po, Panginoon, sa pagbasa ng kanyang salita.
Amen. Thank you. So, kayo manatili na nakatayo at tayo ay umulog sa Panginoon sa panalangin. Pero yung ating pong pinaka-key verse ay verse number 24. So, babasahin ko po ulit yan pagkatapos natin manalangin. Manalangin muna tayo. Maraming Diyos ay muli ko pong babasahin. At ito nga po ay yung verse 24. The Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, Surely as I have taught, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand. And from this verse ay kinuha po natin yung pamagat ng ating mensahe ngayong hapon. As God has purpose, so shall it stand. Kung ano po nilayin ng Panginoon, ito po ang magaganap. Ito po ay matutupad. Wala pong makakapigil. So, papansin niyo po, pinapractice po natin ating tinuturo sa homiletics and hermeneutics. Sinisikap natin na nabigyan ng background yung ating pong mga teksto. Gaya nga po kanina. At ngayon, ay ilang background dito sa aklat ni Isaiah yung ating pong bigyang pansin. Ito pong aklat ito ay tinawag pong the Shakespeare, ito pong si Isaiah ay tinawag na the Shakespeare of the prophets, at siya rin po ay tinuturing na Apostle Paul of the Old Testament. Ito po, yung mga katawagan na binigay at mga title na ascribed kay Propeta Isaiah. Ito po kanyang sinulat is a marvelous manuscript and has been regarded almost universally as by far the greatest and grandest treatise on the most important subject in the history of writing. Yung tungkol po sa ating Panginoong Jesucristo and His perfect redemptive work o yung kanyang salvation work. So, may nakita ako sa video na yung ito forbidden chapter dito, yung chapter number 53 is considered as forbidden chapter for the Jewish people. Kasi ito po yung magpapatunay na yung kanila pong nireject. Their long-awaited Messiah ay nireject nila, at ito'y walang iba kundi yung katauhan, sa katauhan po o sa personality ng ating Panginoong Jesucristo. So nandito po yan sa Isaiah chapter number 53. At isa lang ito sa dalawang aklat sa Bible, sa Old Testament, kung saan ay nabanggit yung tungkol sa pagkahulog sa kasalanan noong dating anghel na si Lucifer, at eventually nga ay naging si Satanas. Okay? Ilan lang po yan sa mga magagandang laman at ilang mahalagang detalye patungkol po dito sa aklat na to. The book's significance and sheer eloquence because of this simply cannot be overstated. Mga scholars ay kinukumpara itong aklat ni Isaiah sa buong Biblia mismo. They compare this book to the whole Bible. Kung ang Bible po sa kabuuan ay may 66 books, I hope and pray that you know that Isaiah has 66 chapters. 66 na kabanata ang meron ito. At kung paano ang Old Testament ay may 39 books, Yung pong first section, there are two sections ito Isaiah, at yung first section ito ay may 39 chapters. At kung ang New Testament, kung complete na 66 books, ay may 27 books, yung last section ng Isaiah ay may 27 chapters. So, kung yung Old Testament, it covers the history and scene of Israel. Yun din po ang nilalaman ng first 39 chapters nitong Isaiah. At kung ang New Testament ay dinidescribe the person and ministry of Christ, yan din po ang nilalaman ng remaining 27 chapters from chapter 40 to 66. Isa nabanggit ko yung 53 most especially. So, the New Testament begins with the ministry of John the Baptist. Di ba? Nasa aklat ng Mateo po yan. At yung pong second section na Isaiah, na ang tando na kaparallel ng New Testament, it begins by predicting this ministry of John the Baptist, particularly in chapter number 40. At ang New Testament ends by referring to the new heavens and new earth, chapter 21 ng Revelation. Take time, no? Mamaya tingnan niyo po that the last chapter, the end of this book, the book of Isaiah, ay naglalaman ng pagdi-describe din ng patungkol sa new heavens and new earth. So walang duda, no? Ito'y may kukumpara. Kumbaga, ito'y miniature Bible, ito pong book of Isaiah. At dito po sa ating teksto, ay ating pong bibigyan pansin ang tungkol nga sa purpose ng Panginoon, na kung saan anumang kanyang nilayon ay wala pong makakahadlang para ito ay matupad. At gaya nga ng ating paksa kanina, di ba? Ito yung center ng Romans 8:28, His purpose. At na-describe na natin yung purpose na yan. So mayroong pagkakaugnayan, no? Hindi na lalayo. At dahil dyan, hindi na tayo ganong mahihirapan na maintindihan ang mensahe nito. And it will even serve as our follow-up sa message kanina. And I pray na naging pagpapala nawa yung ating pong pag-expose, no? Exposition rather, no? Ating Romans 8:28 at yung konteksto nito. Now, isang araw may lalaki na upo sa ilalim ng walnut tree. At habang nakaupo siya doon ay iniisip niya, bakit ganon? Napansin niya yung mga pumpkins na malalaki ang bunga, malalaking bunga. At sabi niya, napatingala siya doon sa kanyang sinisilungang walnut tree. Sabi niya, bakit ganon ang gawa ng Diyos? Kung ano yung malaki, yun ang nasa maliliit na mga sanga, nasa vines. Samantalang yung malaking puno na gaya nito, ang liliit naman ng bunga, yung mga walnuts. So iniisip niya, parang may mali Pero habang nag-iisip siya, he's trying to philosophize yung kanyang obserbasyon, isang bunga po ng walnut ang bumaksak mula sa puno at direktang tinamaan siya sa kanyang ulo. At sapat na yun para ma-realize niya at sabi niya, Lord, salamat po. Kasi imagine niyo kung ang bumaksak ay pumpkins sa ulo niya, ay mas malaking damage. No? Nada-damage talaga siya. Yung walnut, masakit na yun, pero hindi gano'n ka-terrible ang sakit na dulot ito. So, buti na lang, no? Ang elepante ay walang pakpak. Kung elepante ay nakalilipad, at biglang napagod, dumapo sa bubungan natin, may kalalagyan tayo. Ano? May kalalagyan tayo. So, ang Diyos ay walang palpak na gawa. No? Ang Diyos ay matalino, walang duda yan. At alam naman natin yan. Hindi lang tayo mga Kristiyano, kundi pati na ibang tao, no, na naniniwala sa Diyos. Iba-iba man ang Diyos. Alam na ang Diyos ay matalino. Okay? Lalo na yung Diyos natin, dahil ito yung tunay at buhay. Eh paman, may mga pagkakataon kahit tayo mga Kristiyano ay napapaisip din Hindi man yung tungkol sa bunga, hindi man tungkol sa pakpak ng elepante o malaking hayop pa. Pero may mga pangyayari, may mga nagaganap sa mundo kung saan ay we wonder why God did this and why God did that or why God allowed this and why God allowed that. So katulad ng mga karamdaman, kahirapan, yung pag-uusik, no? Pati na rin itong pandemic, sama na natin. Bakit? Okay? Bakit pinahayaan ng Diyos, pinahintulot ng Diyos, ito ay nangyayari? So napapatanong din tayo kuminsan. Pero ang Bible, particularly ito pong ating tekstong ito, kasama ng teksto kanina umaga, ay ipinapahayag sa atin. This is the central idea of this message. The Bible teaches us that God is a God of purpose, and that His purposes are behind all that He does. Ang ating Diyos po ay Diyos na mayroong layunin, may purpose. At ang itong kanyang layunin ito ang nasa likod ng lahat ng kanyang ginagawa, maging ang lahat ng kanyang pinapahintulot. Dito nga sa ating teksto, ang bibilangin natin ay 4 na beses. No? Tinuring 4 na beses, nabanggit po yung word of purpose. Dito po sa verse 24, natin pinaka-key verse, 1 beses. Di ba? At sa verse 26 ay nabanggit pa rin yung purpose, 2 beses. At yung pinaka-pang-apat ay dun sa last verse natin, verse number 27. So malinaw that the key word here is purpose. At the prophet Isaiah, under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, ay itinuturo sa atin dito, particularly sa portion na ito, that God is a God of bright designs, and here, tinuturo that about His sovereign will. Okay? It teaches us about God's bright design and of His sovereign will. So ang Diyos ay mayroong magandang disenyo at siya po ay soberano. Yung kanya pong kalooban ay wala pong makakahadlang, wala po siyang pagsusulitan o pananagutan kanino paman, at malaya at karapatan niyang gawin, at maasahan naman natin na hindi gagawa at o magpapahintulot ng mga bagay na ikasasama natin at ikasisira ng Diyos ang nakapaloob sa kanyang layunin. Tinuturo sa atin dito that God is a God of purpose. So naman, nakuha na natin yan. At Isaiah here is telling us that God is not a passenger in all the happenings and events of life. Hindi po siya pasahero, no, sa mga nangyayari. At kasama nating pasahero na tayo ay tangay-tangay sa anumang direksyon tayo dalhin ng mga nangyayari at mga kaganapan sa buhay, sa mundo. No! He is in the driver's seat. Siya po yung nagmamaneho. At siya po yung nagdidetermina ng direksyon na dapat tahakin, puntahan, tunguhin ng buhay natin at kahit na ng mundo ito. So let me repeat that. God is in the driver's seat, and He is the one who determines the direction all things take in life. His hands is on the steering wheel, and the road life takes is at His choosing. So siya po ang may hawak ng manubela. Nakot ko na ito kanina, yung sinabi ni Raymond Ortland. But let me quote it once again. Dahil related din nga dito sa ating message ngayon. Dahil hindi din naman ito nalalayo sa message kanina. Again, sinulat ni Raymond Ortland, the hand of God is at the helm. He's steering us through the storms of life toward home, toward a safe haven. And He takes care to order all the events of our lives right now, to spend us on our way there, or to speed us on our way there, sorry. And this is what we call providence. Pag sinabi natin providence, it is God's overruling hand at work everywhere in a fallen world. The providence of God is clearly taught from one end of the Bible to the other. So, hindi na tayo magugulat kung nabanggit din natin yung tungkol sa providence kanina at mababanggit ngayon. Dahil yan po ang malinaw na nais ipatotoo at tinuturo ng Biblia, no? Patungkol sa ating Diyos, yung kanyang providensya. Now, dito po sa ating teksto, ay ating pong bigyang pansin yung ating pong paksa, pinamagatan nga natin as God has purpose, so shall it stand. Kung ano ang nilayo ng Diyos, okay, yun po ay mangyayari. Sa pamagitan ng pahayag nito, may tatlong pangunahing puntos tayong nais na bigyang pansin sa ating teksto. Una sa lahat, ay bigyan pansin natin yung connection of God to the happenings of life. The connection of God to the happenings of life. No? In verse number 26, sabi rito, this is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. So sinasabi sa atin dito ni Isaiah that God's purposes are connected to the whole earth and upon all nations. Ano ibig sabihin? Anumang bansa, yung China, kahit na hindi naniwala sa Diyos, yung ibang mga bansa, kahit na ibang Diyos ang pinapaniwalaan, yung mga gera, okay? At yung mga delubyo, okay? Mga disasters, itong pandemic na ito, na nagpaliit sa buong mundo, kasi halos sinakop yung buong mundo. Lahat po na yan ay hindi po natin pwedeng ihiwalay sa purposes ng God. Ayon dito sa Biblia, ayon dito kay Isaiah. Sinasabi sa atin ni Isaiah that God is cannot be disconnected to what happens, but is connected to everything that goes on upon the earth and upon and among all nations. So, ang Diyos ay di Diyos na nakaupo lamang sa kanyang trono mula dun sa malayong langit at walang interes o koneksyon sa nangyayari sa mundo at sa ating buhay. Hindi po ganun ang Diyos ng Biblia. Hindi po ganun ang Diyos natin. He is a God that cannot be divorced from all that happens. Sabi nga ni Dr. David Jeremiah, no, dun sa kanyang lesson about disaster. We cannot divorce God from all that happens. Okay? So may mga ang tawag doon na deism. Pag sinabing deism, ito yung naniniwala na when God created, after God finished creating all things, i-generate niya na ito na parang self-functioning, automatic, at iniwanan niya na, bahala na kayo sa buhay niyo. Hindi po gano'n, no? Ang tinuturo ng Bible. Ang Diyos po, siya rin, is not only the Creator, but He is also the sustainer of all things. Siya po yung umaalalay. Kung hindi po sa pag-alalay ng Diyos, ang mga planeta po na yan ay magbabanggaan. At ang mundong ito ay hindi magtatagal, no? Hindi aabot sa panahon natin ito. So, hindi po deismo, lalo na hindi ateismo, yung walang Diyos. Meron pong Diyos. Hindi ito produkto ng aksidente. Hindi produkto ng aksidente. So, una po, no? We cannot divorce God from life's existence. Hindi po tayo bunga ng aksidente, hindi tayo produkto ng Big Bang, hindi tayo produkto ng evolution. Tayo po at lahat ng mga nasa paligid, lahat ng bagay ay produkto ng paglikha ng makapangyarihang Diyos, ng buhay at tunay na Diyos. Dito po mababasa nyo sa Isaiah pa rin, chapter 17, kunting pihit. And verse number 7, ang sabi ko rito, at that day shall a man look to his Maker, and his eyes shall have respect to the Holy One of Israel. Tapos doon po sa chapter 45, verse number 9, Isaiah pa rin. Okay? Chapter 45, verse number 9. Ano po sabi diyan? Woe unto him that striveth with his Maker. So, take notice, no? Sa yung capital letter yung Maker. So, pag ginagawa ganyan, ito po ay patungkol po sa Diyos. O Diyos po yung tinutukoy dyan. So, God is the one being referred to as the Maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth, shall the clay say to him that fashioneth it, what makest thou, or thy work? He hath no hands. And another verse is from chapter 51 and verse number 30. Ito pa rin sa Isaiah. No? Chapter 51, verse number 13. And forgettest the Lord thy Maker. Pagkakain na lang, medyo small letter yung Maker niya. Kasi meron ng Lord. Okay? Ibig sabihin, naiintindihan mo na kung sino yung Maker na tinutukoy doon. Yung Lord. That had stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, and has feared continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor, as if he were ready to destroy. And where is the fury of the oppressor? So what's the point, no? Dito po si Isaiah, and again, under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, recognize that God is our Maker. Ang Diyos ang ating may likha. At hindi lang sa atin, no, kundi sa lahat ng bagay, siya ang may likha. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So He is the creator of all things. Diniklara ni Isaiah that God, it is God that created man, our Maker, okay? And the existence of man is God's doing. So hindi po tayo produkto ng aksidente, hindi tayo bunga ng mula sa kawalan, at hindi tayo galing sa unggoy. We are the product of God's special creation, and we're created after His own image and likeness. And what's the point? Yung existence natin, hindi natin pwedeng ihiwalay sa Diyos. Bakit? We owe our existence to Him. We owe our life to Him. Okay? So may connection siya sa atin. May connection siya sa lahat ng bagay, lalo na sa atin. Dahil sabi ng Panginoon Kristo, mas mahalaga tayo kaysa sa maya. Mas mahalaga tayo kaysa sa liryo, sa parang. Okay? So, we cannot divorce God from life's existence. And furthermore, we cannot divorce God from life's experiences. As I've said earlier, hindi tayo nilikha ng Diyos. Pagkatapos, bahala na kayo sa buhay nyo. Do your best. Bahala na kayo. No. Our God is connected to everything that happens in life. Everything that happens in our life. God is connected to the experiences of our life. And para liban sa ating personal na karanasan, sigurado ko meron tayong patutuo tungkol dyan. Yan ang laman ng Bible. Yung kanyang koneksyon sa mga karanasan ng mga tao sa mundo. Okay? Particularly yung mga karakter na pinili ng Holy Spirit na siyang banggitin at ilagay at maging bahagi ng laman nitong Biblia. Isa sa example ay nabanggit din natin halimbawa kanina ay si Joseph. Diba? Siya siyang great example of this. Nabanggit na natin at sa totoo lang ay pamilyar tayo sa kanyang istorya kung paano his brothers sold him into slavery that he ended up in Egypt. At to make the long story short, once again, remember mo, yung pagkakalintulad ng kanyang statement doon sa sinabi ni Paul sa Romans 8:28, dito sa chapter 15 ng Genesis, muli inyong tunghayan, chapter 50, verse number 20. Saan ang sabi ko na ni Joseph? But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people. So Joseph was declaring that God had been connected to all that had happened in his life. Kahit pa sa unang tingin parang hindi maganda, no? Parang unfair. Imagine mo, nahiwalay siya sa kanyang pamilya. Imagine nyo, naging maayos na siya sa kanyang katungkulan at pakikitungo sa tao, pero siya pa ay binitray. But at the end, naluklok siya sa pangalawang pinakamataas na posisyon doon sa Egypt, at hindi lamang yon, na iligtas niya yung kanyang bayan. Balala nyo, kailan lang, no? Tilalakay natin si Esther, si Queen Esther, kung saan ay sa pamagitan ng kanyang tiyuhin, si Mordecai, ay nalaman niya na nasa bingit pala ng kapahamakan ang mga Israelita, kasama siya. At ayun pa sa doon, no? Na kaya ka na yung dyan sa panahong ito, may layunin ng Diyos, may connection ng Diyos. Bakit siya nalagay doon? Bakit nainis yung hari kung sa kanyang asawang reyna at naghanap siya ng iba pang magiging reyna niya? At ang dami pong mga kandidato ron, pero si Esther ang pinili dahil nilagay siya ron for such a time as this. May connection ang Diyos. So, bakit si Moses ay napunta doon kay Paraon sa Egypt? So that meron siyang access. Makakausap niya si Paraon. Maaaring si Paraon ay naging kabarkada niya nung una. Si Paraon ay naging kababata pa niya. Di ba? Kinilala siya minsan na pinsan ito. So yun ang naging dahilan ng huwag kayong magtaka kung bakit nakakalapit si Moses kay Paraon. May connection ang ginawa ng Diyos sa kanya. Maging yung kanyang pagkapunta sa Madyan upang turuan siya ng mahalagang leksyon. 120 years ang naging buhay ni Moses at nahahati sa tatlong bahagi yan. In 40 years sa Egypt, he wrongly thought that he is a somebody. Pero nung si Itaboy at 40 years sa wilderness, he learned that the truth that he is a nobody. And then yung remaining 40 years, as he led the Jewish people, even though he failed to enter the promised land, through that remaining 40 years, he learned that a nobody can only be a somebody by the grace of God. Nadudoon yung koneksyon, nadudoon ang intervention ng Panginoon. Mayroong kaugnayan ang Diyos sa karanasan ng mga tao. Hindi naman ng mga Bible characters. No, kahit tayo makapagpapatotoo niyan kung yung mga pangyayari sa ating buhay at kung saan tayo narito ngayon. So there are many things that happen in life in which it first appears that God was absent. Parang walang koneksyon ng Diyos. But later, we realize that God has been there all the time. We cannot divorce God from any experience of life. Hindi natin pwedeng iwalay ang Diyos sa pandemic na to. Hindi natin pwedeng iwalay ang Diyos sa karamdaman natin. It could be yung kanyang testing, it could be yung kanyang discipline, but we cannot divorce God from any experience of life. He is connected to the happenings of our life, especially tayong kanyang mga anak. So nawa, nakuha natin yan. Pakatandaan po natin yan. At pangalawa, dito rin po sa ating teksto, ay bigyan pansin natin the control of God to the happenings of life. Hindi lamang siya may control, hindi lamang siya may connection, kundi may control pa siya sa mga nangyayari sa ating buhay. Of course, dito, it has something to do with the fall of Assyria. Ayaw nating alisin yung konteksto nito. We do not want to violate yung proper hermeneutics. Sabi nga ng aking Bible, the fall of Assyria. Okay. So, in verse 24, the Lord host had sworn, saying, surely as I have taught, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. And notice also in verse 27, in verse 27, for the Lord of hosts hath purposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? So ito mo sinasabi sa ating uli ni Isaiah that God's purposes are not only connected to the whole earth and all nations, but that His purposes will come to pass. They shall stand, and no one can disannul them. No one can break them, no one can cause them to cease. No one can prevent them from happening. Anumang pinasyahan ng Diyos ay mangyayari. Anumang pinasyahan ng Diyos ay matutupad. So Isaiah describes a God that is in absolute control of all happenings. And this is not the first time. During this pandemic, this lockdown, paulit-ulit natin binabanggit yan. You know why it is important na ma-assure tayo, mag-sink in sa ating isipan at mapanghawakan natin that God is in control of everything. Kung hindi control ng Diyos ang mundo at nangyayari ito, may pag-asa ba tayo? Saan tayo makuha ng pag-asa? Isa pong malaking kapanatagan at malaking pag-asa, yung katotohanan. Whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not, this is the truth that God is in control. And we ought to thank God for that. Okay? Salamat. Ulitin ko. Okay? Ano mangyayari kung hindi pala kontrolado ng Diyos ito? Iiwan lang natin sa tao. Kung totoong ito ay sinadya, di nakasalalay sa China yung ating buhay, yung ating kalagayan, kung ito ay talagang pinipigilang masolusyonan ng tao, di wala na tayong pag-asa sa mundo ito, sa buhay na ito. Pero hindi. May connection yung mga tao, kung totoong ito'y sinadya, kung totoong may gano'n, oo. Pero sa huli, yung kagustuhan ng Diyos ang masusunod. At kung gugustuhin ng Diyos, yung kalooban ng Diyos, yung plano ng Diyos, na ito ay matapos, hindi ito panahon para bumalik yung Panginoon. Then, meron tayong katiyakan na ito ay masusolusyonan, ito ay matatapos at mananauli sa dating kalagayan sa mas maayos yung takbo kaysa ngayon ang buhay ng tao. So it is important, and that is what the Bible is trying to teach us, giving us the assurance na hindi bigla na lang nawala ng kontrol ng Diyos. Imagine niyo kung ang isang driver ay nawala ng kontrol sa kanyang minamanayong sasakyan. What will be the result of that? O hindi na makontrol yung sinasakyang kabayo, di ba? May mga pangyayari, nagpunta ng Thailand, hindi na makontrol yung elepante, disaster. May pangyayari, yung mga lion tamer, hindi na makontrol yung lion, disaster. And yung disaster, kung wala pang control, walang makakontrol, o walang Diyos na kukontrol, mas malaking disaster yun. Mas malaking disaster yun. So, kung ang Diyos ay hindi siya may control, ano yung plan B? Do we have plan B? Okay? No. God is in control. That's the point. He tells us here, Isaiah, that God's purposes are overruling and authoritative. In a nutshell, Isaiah tells us that God is in control of the experiences and happenings of life, and that what happens in life is according to His purpose. Of course, alam natin yung will ng Panginoon, di ba? May tinatawag na direct will at permissive will. Pero whether it's a direct will or permissive will, it is under God's control and it is according to His good purpose. It is for His glory, and then it is for our good, being ang kanyang mga anak. So understanding this will make us realize that the happenings of life are, one, the appointments of God. Ang mga nangyayari sa buhay, ang mga nangyayari sa mundo, ay yan, appointments of God. Of course, nais natin linawin, hindi tayo robot, na tayo ay disuse. Hindi, di ba? Hindi. And the best way to illustrate that ay, katulad tayo ng mga isda na nasa fishbowl o kaya nasa aquarium, malaya tayo nakakakilos dun sa loob, pero ang Diyos ang may hawak ng aquarium, ang Diyos ang may hawak ng fishbowl, siya yung maglalagay kung saan tayo pwedeng ilagay at siya ang maglalagay kung ano pwedeng ilagay doon sa aquarium fishbowl. Malaya tayo gumagalaw doon, pero kontrolado ng Diyos yung ating kalalagyan. Okay? Hindi po tayo robot, meron tayong free will, we are free moral being. Although, nung mahulog sa kasalanan ay naging slave tayo ng sin, ang gumagawa ng kasalanan ay lipin ng kasalanan. But through our Lord Jesus Christ, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. So, hindi po tayo robot. Pero yung mga nangyari po sa ating buhay ay by God's appointments. Hindi ito kaya sira-sira. Whatever will be, wala na tayong magagawa. No, hindi. Pero, wala akong mangyayari na hindi dadaan sa kanyang pagtatakda, sa kanyang pagpapahintulot, sa kanyang approval. So when we realize that God is in control of the happenings of life, particularly sa ating buhay, mga nangyayari sa ating buhay, yung nagkasakit ako, nung una pa nagkasunog sa amin doon sa Cavite, na-stroke yung tatay ko, sa Maynila, tapos na-stroke ang tatay ko, napunta kami ng Cavite. Lahat yan ay nasa ilalim ng layunin ng Diyos. At hindi lamang sa akin, kundi sa bawat isa sa atin. Wala hong aksidente sa atin. Wala hong aksidente sa Diyos. So, listen. When we realize that God is in control of the happenings of life, then we understand that life is not a series of accidents, but appointments. Ang ganda sinabi ni Dr. 𝐒𝐃 Pearson, lagi niya sinasabi ito, these appointments are His appointments. God's appointments. Okay? Wala pong nangyayari na hindi po nagdadaan sa kapahintulutan at pagtatakda ng Diyos. Mas maganda yung sinabi ni Andrew Murray as he approached the distressful happenings of life. Sinulat niya, in times of trouble, sabi niya, first, in times of trouble, parang ano mga doon? Sabi niya, He, referring to God, He brought me here. It is by His will I am in this straight place. In that I will rest. Next, He will keep me here in His love and give me grace in this trial to behave as His child. Then, He will make the trial a blessing, teaching me the lessons He intends me to learn and working in me the grace He means to bestow. And last, in His good time, He can bring me out again. How and when? He knows. to say, I am here by God's appointment, in His keeping, under His training, for His time. So nandito tayo sa kalagayan ito. Ako, thankful pa nga, ito lang, ilang beses ba binanggit? Buti hindi tayo pinanganak sa panahon ng gera. Hindi tayo pinanganak doon sa mga mahihirap na bansa o saradong isipang bansa. Bagamat walang makakapigil po sa biyaya ng Diyos na laan para sa atin. Hindi tayo nabuhay sa panahon ng persecution, ng inquisition, o panahon ng pang-aalipin. Time and again, binapakit ko yan. Nabuhay tayo sa panahon ito, at sa panahon ito, na maunlad, may teknolohiya, may marimang problema, and we are in the last days of the last days, but still, dito tayo nilagay ng Panginoon, and He will keep us sa panahon ito, sa sitwasyon ito, sa pandemic na ito, sa ilalim ng Kanyang pag-ibig. Bibigyan tayo ng kapayapaan sa pagharap sa pagsubok na ito bilang Kanyang mga anak. Meron tayong blessing na matutunan dito at yan ang ating dapat alamin. Yung kanyang intensyon, yung kanyang nais ituro sa atin. And in His good time, matatapos nila lahat. So we can say, with Andrew Murray, I am here by God's appointment, in His keeping, under His training, for His time. Now, okay, in verse 26, we can look at the happenings of life and say, this is the purpose that is purpose. This is the purpose that is purpose. Okay? So we need to realize that the happenings of life are the appointments of God. Furthermore, okay, it is important that we understand that the happenings of life are the arrangements of God. The arrangement of God. Hindi lamang ang Diyos ay may purpose in the happenings of life, but He also arranges all things for the fulfillment of those purposes. Hindi po aksidente, nagkasunog dito, naghahanap kami ng lugar ng mga panahon na yon at hindi na binalikan po ng dating nakatira dito at ito ay naipamana na ila Kasi na at si Brother Resty ay mananampalataya at inoffer sa atin na una inupahan, pagkatapos ay natayo na bahay sambahan. Hindi po aksidente nandito tayo. Arrangement ng Diyos yan. Okay? Arrangement ng Diyos. Naghahanap kami sa Parañaque, sa Pasay, wala kami makita. Pero dito may available arrangement ng Diyos yan. Napakaganda makita natin yung control ng Diyos sa lahat ng bagay. He is the one that determines what happens, but works all things to make them happen. In verse 24, ano sabi sa atin yan? The Lord of hosts had sworn, saying, surely as I have taught, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. So God sees to it that all His plans and purposes are fulfilled. Tinitiyak ng Diyos yan. Sisinis ang plano na mabuti at mga layunin na kanyang matalinong nilayon ay matutupad. He appoints the happenings of life and then arranges the fulfillment of those purposes. Kasama po, imagine niyo na sa isang camp, biglang nagkita si Justin at si Sarah. It is the arrangement of God. No, may mga iba pang istorya sa likod niyan. It is the arrangement of God. Nagkasakit ako na ako ay nagpapastor na sa simbahan, na yung simbahan ay may konting pera, na natulungan ako sa aking medication, meron na rin akong PhilHealth noon, nabayaran ng church kahit maliit, at iba pa na nasustentuhan ng aking pagpapagaling, na kung hindi ako pastor, baka hindi ko kinaya yung mga gastos na yon, at matagal na tayong tito. So yung mga plano ng Panginoon, Yung iba sa inyo, hindi napunta rito by accident. Layunin ng Diyos yan. In-arrange ng Diyos yan. Nagkaroon kayo problema sa iyong buhay. Nagkaroon kayo meron kayo pinagdaanan, pero mga naging paraan ng Diyos para maging bahagi kayo ng iglesia ito. That is His arrangement. Yung mga nangyari na yon sa buhay natin. Okay? Maging yung ating malulungkot na karanasan. Yung mga nangyari niya. So He appoints the happenings of life and then arranges the fulfillment of those purposes. Halimbawa, noong February 14, 1947, tagal na to, no? Isang airline flight bound to Quito, Ecuador, ang Avianca Airline, ang nag-crash sa isang 14,000-foot high peak of El Tablaso, not far from Bogota. The plane then dropped flaming mass of metal into a ravine far below, and all passengers died instantly. No, isa po sa mga pasahero ng na-aksidenteng aeroplano na yan ay isang young man, ang pangalan ay Glenn Chambers. At siya po, kaya siya sumakay doon, he was on his way to begin his ministry with the voice of the Andes. Pero bago siya malis sa airport ng Miami, nakakita siya ng isang piraso ng papel sa sahig at kinuha niya yun at nagsulat siya ng note para sa nanay niya at kanyang mail. No? Yung po ganda sa Amerika eh. Pag may sulat ka, lalagyan mo ng selyo. Selyo ba lang ng stamp? Iwanan mo rin sa mailbox. Sa mailbox. Wala mo kuha na kahit yung letter mo. Walang kuha na. Siguro may mga isolated cases. So yung paghatid ng mail dun sa box, kukunin din mga nakalagay na mail doon. Hindi ka na pumunta pa ng post office. May post office din naman. Pag nagpunta kami, bumili na kayo ng mga stamps. Kaya kahit sa kami naroon, mag-i-stamp lang, papasalamatan, yung mga pinuntahan namin, may mga prayer letters, gano'n. So, gano'n, nasa airport, siguro, binigyan stamp, o kaya doon sa airport, bisa, di ba, may mga post office yan, pinadala sa nanay niya. Alam niyo ba na yung papel na yun ay cover ng isang magazine, at ng isang advertisement na ang nakasulat sa likod ng sulatan niya ay isang malaking single word na why. Bakit? Doon siya sumulat. So between the time the letter was mailed and arrived, patay na si Chambers. Pero binuksan ng nanay niya na umiiyak. Yung letter, ang unang nabungara niya, yung kabila, malaking why. The word why. And there are many things in life that cause us to ask, why? Why? Pero, we know, kaya yung banggit natin kanina, we know that God is connected to the happenings of life. And He is in control of the events of life. We may not know why, but we can say that all His appointments, that all are His appointments and His arrangements. We can say with Isaiah from our text, the passage read to us earlier by Timothy, this is the purpose that is purpose. Ito yung layunin na nanilayon. Ito yung pinlano. Ito yung naganap ay pinlano. Ayon sa pinlano. Ayon sa tinakda. Ayon sa ginusto ng Diyos. Kaya nga si Esther Fields, okay? Tula, itong mixi, parte niya sa tula. Things don't just happen to us who love God. They're planned by His own dear hand. Then molded and shaped and timed by His clock, things just don't happen. They're planned. Hindi basta nangyari, lahat ay pinlano. Lahat ay dumaan sa plano, layunin, kapahintulutan, arrangement ng ating Diyos. So that's the way we should look this pandemic and all the situations we have in life. Okay? Yung mga pagsubok na yan, kasama yan sa mabuting plano at layunin ng Diyos. Pati yung mga problema, karamdaman, itong pandemic na to, huwag natin kakalimutan, mabuti, matalino, at yung di magkakamali ang Diyos. No? God is too wise to be mistaken. And God is too good to be unkind. And He is too holy to do evil, to commit sin. So, nakita natin yung connection ng Diyos sa mga nangyayari sa buhay, sa mundo, yung control ng Diyos, and last but not the least, bigyan pansin natin yung cause of God for the happenings of life. The cause of God, no? Medyo nabanggit natin kanina yung cause na yan. Pero kanina, pinag-usapan siya yung dahilan, siya yung nagplano, gumawa nun. But this time, we're talking about yung meaning, yung reason. So the final thing that this passage, our text, brought to our attention is that not only does our God have purposes that He has purpose, but that His purposes have meaning and reason. Mayroong dahilan. Okay? God never does anything without a reason and purpose. God never does anything. Don't forget this one. Jot this down. God never does anything without a reason and purpose. So sinabi ko nga noong una, we may not always know the reason, but we believe that behind all that God does, there are two primary objective in His mind. Ito na, talakay natin ang konti kanina. And what are those two, no? First, unahin natin yung purpose of edification. Okay? Edification. Particularly in conforming us, kung kukunik natin doon, conforming us with the image of His Son. Edification. So in chapter 14, the purpose of edification, the specific purpose of God that Isaiah refers to concern the Assyrians. In verse 25, ano sabi? That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. So ano po yung nakapaloob dito sa ating teksto? Ito po mga Assyrians, they had invaded Judah, and in God's purposes, He was going to bring judgment upon them. He would break the Assyrians. He would tread them underfoot. So involved in this purpose was, as the latter part of verse 25 that tells us, they shall, verse 25, last part, then shall His yoke depart from off them, and His burden depart from off their shoulders. So, ibig sabihin, God was going to bring Judah, God was going to bring Judah out from under a repressive condition. Okay? He was going to lift their yoke, alisin niya kanilang pamatok at yung kanilang pasanin. And behind God's purposes was the edification of His people. Listen, this is important. The more we learn about God, the more we are brought to the understanding that He appoints and arranges the affairs, events, and happenings of our life. Although some of those appointments and arrangements are not always pleasant to our experience, rather. But the more we learn about God, the more we learn and realize that part of His purposes for our life are for the benefit and blessing of our life. It is to benefit us. It is for our blessing. No? Ye fearful saints, sabi ni Cowper, fresh courage take. The clouds ye so much dread are big with mercy and will break in blessings on your head. So the purposes of God are nowhere better explained than in Romans 8:28 na ating paksa kanina. So ito po yung dahilan, baka sabi ko may koneksyon. Diba? Tandaan natin yan. Yung purposes ng Panginoon dyan. So, yun po, no? Ano yung layunin? The purpose of edification. Particularly, yung context ng Romans 8:28, yung 29, to conform us to the image of His Son. Not necessarily our health, not necessarily our happiness, but our holiness to conform to the image of His Son. And it is the Wilmington Guide to the Bible. I remember that during my Bible school days, na sinabi doon that God was so pleased with His Son that He wanted to fill heaven with Christ-like people. He was so pleased with His Son na gusto niya punuin ang langit o ang langit ay lagyan ng mga katulad, kawangis, conform to His Son ng mga tao. And in the book of Revelation, makita natin yan, from different nations, great and small, great multitude that cannot be numbered in heaven. Iba-iba background, iba-iba, pero one thing in common, okay? Made in the likeness of His Son, conform to the holiness of our Lord Jesus Christ. Okay. So sa Panginoon, pare-pareho lang tayo, pantay-pantay lang tayo. Sa harapan ng Diyos, walang racial discrimination, walang color discrimination, walang education discrimination. Sa harapan ng Diyos, walang status discrimination. Nagagalit yung iba dahil yung ayuda ng gobyerno, may diskriminasyon. May diskriminasyon. Pero sa harapan ng Diyos, no servant, no master, no slave, no man, no woman. All, saved by grace. Saved by grace. Some are proud with their face. Some are proud with their race. But there is one thing we are to be proud of, and that is the grace of God to us. So, the purpose of edification, and secondly, okay, last but not the least, there is the purpose of exaltation. Purpose of exaltation. Now, notice carefully, again, itong verse 25. Ano sinasabi dito sa verse 25? Pansin nyo, sabi ng Panginoon na, my mountains. Nabasa niyo ba yan? My land. And upon my mountains. So, Panginoon po yung nagsasalita dyan. Sa kanya po, siya yung nagsasabing my, kanya yan. Parang sa church. My church. Hindi to church ng pastor. Hindi to church ng malalaki mag-ikapo. Hindi to church ng mga opisyales. It is His church. My land. My mountain. Ano mo pinapakita rito? There was also a personal purpose in all God's doings. It is not only for our edification, it is not only for our good, but first and foremost, it is for His glory. It is for the exalting of His name. Primarily, it is for the exalting of His name. Exalting, Hindi insulting. Ang ganda-ganda kinakatawa, thou was exalted, the Lord is exalted, but look at how they live, how they serve. The Lord is insulted. It is not insulting the name of God. Sabihin natin, Diyos siya kasi hindi nasusunod. Diyos siya, hindi natin siya prioridad. Diyos siya, hindi natin siya pinagtitiwalaan. Diyos, hindi natin siya hindi tayo nagpapasakop. No! Kaya nga, di ba, that's the whole duty of man, to fear God and to keep His commandments. So, exalting His name. So, His purposes were revealing. Ano nire-reveal ng purposes of God? They revealed Him. They revealed God as the mighty and sovereign God. No one can thwart His purposes. Even though, on the other hand, He could easily thwart the purposes of others. Let me repeat that. I like this one. No one can thwart God's purposes, but He could easily thwart the purposes of others. Going back, man proposes, but God disposes. No one could stop Him from bringing to pass what He desired. But He was the kind of God that could stop nations from doing what they wanted. And behind the purpose was God receiving glory in all things. In all things. He was exalted. He was glorified. So yan po, yan ang laman. Nilinaw yan sa Biblia. Bakit tayo nilikha for His glory? Bakit tayo sinay for His glory? Bakit tinagda ang church for His glory? Ano mga ating gagawin for His glory? We are to be in one mind and one mouth glorifying God. And in the book of Revelation, remember, ano yung 24 elders representing yung government of the Old Testament, the 12 tribes, and yung representing the government of the church, the 12 apostles, casting their crowns sa paanan ng Panginoon. At ang sabi na, Revelation 4:11, Thou art worthy. Diba? Thou art worthy, O Lord. Revelation 4:11, sabi, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. For Thou hast created all things. He's the maker, remember? And this is His purpose. For Thy pleasure, they are and were created. So all things. Soli Deo Gloria. To God alone be the entire honor and glory. He was to be exalted. He was to be glorified. In conclusion. So what does Isaiah tell us about God? Dito tinuturo po sa atin ng Panginoon sa pagitan ng Isaiah that God is in the driver's seat. Maganda sana yung nakita ko yung pinupost sa Facebook. Kung natutulog ka sa aeroplano, di ka nag-aalala. Natutulog ka sa jeep, di ka nag-aalala. Kampante ka. Tiwala ka sa piloto, pero hindi ka nagtitiwala sa Diyos. Nung first time na kami sumakay ng aeroplano, katabi ko pa naman, nag-rosaryo, hindi kami makatulog noon. Pero dahil sa ilang beses na, nagagawa na namin. Tinutulugan na lang namin yan. Nakadungaw ka pa sa bintana. Nagawa mo magtiwala sa piloto, hindi mo naman kilala. Yan ba ay matagal na? Yan ba ay talaga hindi inaantok? Nung una ako nagmamaneho, walang natutulog na pasahero. Ngayon, mag-isa akong gising. Kampante yung mga pasahero. Makakainggit. Nagagawa natin magtiwala sa tao. Hindi pagtitiwala na dapat meron sa Panginoon. Our God is a God of purpose, a God of design, a God of cause and effect. He is not our co-pilot. He should not be just your co-pilot. He must be the pilot. And the more we learn about Him, the more we are grateful that we are the passenger and God is the one steering the wheels. He is in control. Ito po ang salita ng Panginoon. Nawa, ginamit ng banal na Espiritu para pagpalain ang ating puso. Tayo manalangin, Pastor.